Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be an episode on Winter Storm Xanto and an update on, in general, the next couple of days, the temperature wise, snowfall wise, precipitation wise, in general the outlook. So let's just get right into it. Please, before this video starts, consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that red button, it's down. If you scroll down below my video, it's right above the description box. It shows subscribe, or it says subscribed if you haven't subscribed. So just click on that button and it should work. You should be subscribed. It's free, no cost, so please consider doing that and liking the video. Thank you. So you can see this storm system is pretty much a series of low that combined in order to form pretty much a disaster storm for much of the country. And you can see here is the first low that was the main driving point of this low. However, this low eventually kind of does die and kind of disintegrates, and a second low develops right here. And this low also brings a series of waves of rain that transition eventually into freezing rain and sleet. The GFS does not show this really well, but the freezing rain line could be all the way around I-80. So areas even like Detroit could get freezing rain and sleet. Same with Chicago. So this is definitely a threat that is just, the storm is just so intense, so many different aspects of it. It's just insane how there's pretty much 5 different weather types that are going on at the same time. Freezing rain, sleet, severe weather, just plain old rain, and snow. So that is definitely something you will just need to continue watching and keep our eyes on the radar. So you can see this storm. Look, I mean, there's one low that dies, and then this storm reloads again. So again, that is 3 already lows, and this storm then later on strengthens as it moves up. But it left quite a bit of snow for the U.S., and a lot of snow will be wrapping around into areas like Chicago and Detroit. And some of the snowfalls amounts are going to be great, not for areas like Detroit and Chicago. However, even for areas like southern Wisconsin, they could receive up to 15, 16 inches of snow. So this is definitely something we'll need to keep watching. And it does look as if much of the snowfall will fall into Wisconsin, Green Bay, and southern Wisconsin for the next several hours. It does look as if northern Michigan and Minneapolis and Minnesota have gotten their brunt of their snow. But you can see up to 13 inches still left behind. Is potentially left behind, which may seem like a lot, but they have received over 20 inches of snow in some areas. So this is definitely something that will go down into the record books. Now this is where a little bit calm happens 2 days, not before the second system rolls through, and you could see this system just brings a lot of heavy snow, not necessarily severe weather or heavy rain. However, you could see some of these snowfall amounts. Some of these snowfall rates, sorry guys, some of these snowfall rates can be up to 4 to 6, even 7 inches of snow per hour, which is immense, insane. But that's what usually happens with spring snowstorms. Usually there's a heavy rainfall side and then a heavy snowfall side, and that usually affects big areas, and usually leads to a havoc. So you can see this later does weaken on and passes through, and then there's another chance, but we'll get into that maybe in a different video. If you're wondering how much snowfall will fall from the second system, let's go back to the first system, and let's take an example right here. Green Bay, 20 inches of snow with this first system. The second system leaves up to 31. So if that would happen, it brings it up to 31. So that would mean that the second system has the potential to leave anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow. Snow, and this is definitely that voice crack though. Oh my god. And this is definitely something we'll need to keep watching, because this, even though it's much smaller than the first system, people will be, oh, we just had a big snowstorm, this is nothing. On top of this snowfall that already has fallen, this could be lethal. And you can see even the third snowfall comes along, but that is still so far out, we will need to look at that at a different time. Now let's go to the NAM and focus on the storm that this is already showing out. You can see the 18 o'clock run. Let's go to the 12 o'clock one. And you can see that actually the 18 o'clock one has even further south the snowfall amount. So you could see this brings the snowfall a lot further south. Areas like Chicago could get up to 3 to 6 inches of snow with this. However, guys, you may be wondering, why is there so much snow and they didn't show that much snow earlier, and why is there so much big of a difference? Well, the reason is because a couple of degrees of temperature makes a huge difference in snowfall amounts, and that total snowfall includes sleet and freezing rain, so it's not just pure snow. As you could see, the NAM, with this little system right here, this little band of rain that's happening right now across Iowa, it brings a lot more cold air into the country than previously expected, and much of the northern Illinois is in freezing rain, sleet area, and the heavy snow then wrapped around into areas like even as far south as southern Indiana, which the GFS does not show. And then it starts developing this snowstorm out there, which could again be another large winter storm. So if you're wondering which one's more correct, we gotta go to the HRRR. The HRRR model is usually one of the most accurate models, and this one goes out to only 18 hours. So let's go to the previous one, since that one runs the full model run. So you can see very similar situation, and again, it does bring that snow, rain, sleet threat way further south than expected, and this is as far south as it goes. And you can see pretty much the whole state of Michigan is covered in freezing rain, based on the difference from the GFS, where only the northern part of it is in freezing rain. So this is definitely something the models are not agreeing on, and we'll need to keep track of. So this is a really hard situation for meteorologists, and if you want to see a model that is pretty much a HRRR model but extended, it's a HRRR RRX. And the HRRR RRX only extends on hours that are based on 6-hour intervals. So at 12 o'clock, 18, 18, and 0. So you can see, let's go to the 12 o'clock run, since this is the latest one that has a full, you can see 36 hours. And it's very close to the HRRR model, very similar. You can see brings the freezing rain further south, and very similar situation. So this could definitely be a situation where the forecasters are unpredicted, lots of, where it's an overachiever in terms of its events. So northern Illinois is forecasted to just see rain. However, if this was to be true, if this was to be true, then based off the HRRR model, there's a potential up to a couple of inches of sleet and ice. So this is definitely a situation where couple of inches of difference. Look, northern Illinois, that brings up to 2 inches of snow. So that is definitely something we'll need to just keep our eyes on the radar, because a model won't tell us exact information as well as the radar, but unfortunately the radar does not go into future mode. So what is happening and what is based, if the precipitation starts turning over ice in northern Illinois, then it's pretty much bound to happen in Michigan, and so on and so forth. So you got to go off details like that. Let's go to the model 3KM. You could see brings in, this is including sleet, however, so keep that in mind. This isn't just pure snow, but you can see brings in quite a bit of snow into northern Illinois, which the GFS again does not. So let's go into radar rain / frozen. You could see NAM 3KM, very similar to the GFS, to the HRRR model, brings in moisture here, and the second low develops right here. A lot of freezing rain and sleet for the state of Michigan and for northern Illinois, and this is as far out as it goes, 21 hours. Doesn't go out any further with this model run, because I could show you the previous one, but it's less accurate than this one since it's farther away from the storm actually occurring. We could see this huge shield of snow, and if this eventually does continue going the way it's supposed to be going, you can see it's moving in a clockwise direction or counterclockwise, then Chicago would eventually get into snow, which the GFS does not show, and the National Weather Service doesn't think will happen, which there are several reasons why they don't think will happen. However, the NAM and the HRRR have been very consistent this winter, so this is again something very exciting that could happen, and it's just, at this point, I don't know what to say. There could be lots of freezing rain and sleet for northern Illinois. You could get clobbered by it. At the same time, there could be nothing much. And most of the areas that will get snow is just Minnesota and Wisconsin and Michigan. But at this point, anything is up for grabs. So stay tuned to the weather radar. You can see this Canadian model is similar to the GFS, but again, the global system forecasting models, or the larger ones that go out to 200 hours plus, are less accurate when it comes to closer term snowfall amounts. You can see it does bring in that snow for Chicago, and it does also bring in that snow for Wisconsin, except a little bit further south with that second system. So now let's go focus onto that second system, and let's go to the GFS, since that's the only model that has it that far out. And you can see this snowfall, again, is very heavy, 989. That's fairly strong winds. Most of this looks to be a rainmaker south of the Wisconsin line. And again, this could definitely still change. This is still on Wednesday, Thursday, so that's almost a half a week out. And that could definitely still change. So, as I pointed out earlier, up to 11 inches of snow possible with this. And now let's shift to the temperatures. So, let's go to the 2 temperature meter anomaly, which basically tells you whether the temperatures are going to be above or below average based on a certain time, which is up here, and based on a certain location, which is on a map. So you can see with the storm is a lot of cold air, and that's the reason why I think there might be some freezing rain today, because with this storm, it won't be a warm storm. Before this storm, it was right here, a lot of warm air pushed ahead of it. However, look how cold this air gets behind it, and it just stays there for a long time. I mean, it does not go away. Look at that. It just stays there in this part of the country for so long. It's ridiculous. And it kind of gets me concerned because I don't know when I'll get my plants out. I'm just, say, watch Chicago, the Chicago area. Tell me once when it gets above average. Not a single time. It gets close right here. Towards the end, the cold air starts getting pushed out. But for the next, I would say, half a month, it does not look good. It looks as if most of this area will be below average cold temperatures. And let's go to 2 meter shaded, which tells you the actual temperatures. And again, just because it's below average doesn't mean it's below freezing. However, you could see it's going to be so below average that for this time of the year, it still brings it below freezing for some of these areas. But you can see 40s and 30s, possibly some 50s look predominant for much of these areas. And once it does start finally pushing through, you could see 60s, 70s. This, at this point of the year, should be up in northern Minnesota and in May almost. However, it's not. So, this could still change. However, it's not changing. It hasn't changed for the past several weeks. So that just gives me to show that it might actually be what they're showing. So cold air, snowy weather coming up. Just a mess. I really don't like this type of weather. However, what can you do? What can you do? That's exactly what you're going to say. What can you do? And look, this is the icon, the German model. It has it even colder for some of these areas. Just solid 40s for most of the country. And I think it does not have 2 meter temperature anomalies. However, this is definitely below average. And that's basically all I wanted to show you guys, just the insane weather that is going on right now. Cold, cold, cold rain. And you can see actually this is actually a phenomenon almost. Not really a phenomenon, but it's really cool. So see how it's warmer up here, but then there's just one blotch of colder area. And guess what that is? That's exactly where the snowfall is, the heaviest snowfall, because snow reflects sunlight, and that actually gives you colder temperatures whenever you have snow. So you can see north of that you have 50s. You go in Canada you have 50s, while in Iowa you still have 30s. So this is probably where the snowfall. Now let's check it out and see total snowfall, probably somewhere in that area. Yeah, I was right in that area, heavy snowfall. And it does look as if in that area it will stay the coldest, so the snow will stay the longest and alter the temperatures the longest. So very cool things when it comes to meteorology. If you want to know more about this system, if it's going to impact your weather, like how much am I snow going to get in Michigan or Wisconsin, go to tropicaltidbits.com, Tropical Tidbits, or it also shows it right here. Hold up. Let me exit out of this. Tropicaltidbits.com shows it right there. Type that in and you'll be able to access all of these weather models, what they have to say, and you'll also be able to access the HRRR model, and the HRRR model shows you probably the most accurate areas where we'll see this heaviest snowfall. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider liking this video. Please consider subscribing to my channel. As always, see you guys on the next episode.